on section 2-3, when you look at the instructions, it says the trig functions are periodic. I haven't used that word yet. We need to talk about it, periodic. Periodic means it happens over and over and over. Like, for example, days of the week are periodic, okay? Every 7 days it starts over, okay? For example, you know what day of the week it's going to be 700 days from now? Nobody knows what day of the week it'll be 700 days from now?
Monday.
It's going to be a Monday. I have no idea what the date is, but it's going to be a Monday, okay? 28 days from now is also a Monday, okay? Because that's a multiple of 7, okay? If I was to ask you 71 days from now, it's going to be a Tuesday, okay? Because 70 days, that's 10 weeks. That's exactly 10 weeks. It's one more that's left over. So every 7 days it starts over. It's periodic. Same with sine. Now, I have an answer. What I want you to look at is this. Actually, you look at my unit circle here, okay? A sine, the period of sine is 360 degrees, or 2 pi. The reason is, you have to go all the way around, and then it starts over. Okay, and we already knew that. We've talked about that. The same with cosine. You have to go all the way around before it starts over. Now, what's the period of tangent? Do you have to go all the way around before they start repeating themselves? How far do you have to go before they start repeating? Halfway. 1 pi, halfway around. So if you look at these, here's halfway around. If we go here, if I went 30 degrees here and I went 30 degrees here, radical 3 over 3, radical 3 over 3. If I went to 45 and I went another 45, 1, 1. Okay? You only have to go halfway around. It's kind of like saying this. True or false? Listen carefully here. True or false? Every 14 days, every multiple of 14, the days of the week will repeat themselves. True or false? Every 14 days. Yeah, but you don't have to go 14 days. You only have to go 7 days, okay? 14 days from now, it'll be a Monday. 28 days from now, it'll be a Monday. But you don't have to go 14, okay? If you go all the way around, the tangents will repeat themselves. But you only have to go halfway around to have, what did I say? All the way around for sines and cosines to repeat themselves. Tangents, you only have to go halfway around, okay? That doesn't work with sine. For example, here, if we went 30 degrees, if we were halfway around, if we go 30 degrees, are our sines the same? No. One's positive half, one's negative half, okay? So, you might want to jot that down. The periods, I'll put it on the back of the unit circle, is this, periods. Periods of the unit of sine and cosine is 2 pi. Tangent is pi. And I wouldn't write this next thing down, but see if you guys can answer. We're going to talk about it more in about a week or so. Any guesses on what the period of cotangent is? Any guesses? Cotangent. Any guesses what the...
2 pi.
Not 2 pi, not for cotangent. Pi. How about secant and cosecant? 2 pi. Why? Why do you think cosec, I'll give you a clue here. Sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant. Why do you think cosecant's period is 2 pi?
It's an inverse of sine.
Right, reciprocal sine, okay? And secant's is 2 pi because cosine is 2 pi. And tangent and cotangent are both pi, okay? All right, so a lot of explanation to do a really simple question. They ask us on number 11, this is on 2-3, what is the sine of 405 degrees? You don't have 405 degrees written on your unit circle. Where are you guys going to look? Where do we look at for 405 degrees? How come 45?
Because if it's all the way around, it's 360, and then plus 45 is...
So we're going to look at 45, and the sine is radical 2 over 2. That's it, root 2 over 2. Am I looking at the first value or the second value for that? They're the same. Which one is the first or second?
Second.
Sine is second. It goes cosine, sine. Don't mess those up. Tangent of 405. Where are we going to look at on this one? Same place. Tangent is 1. Cosecant of 450 degrees. We're not going to look in the same place this time. We're going to look where? all the way around is 360. How far do you have to go to get to 450 if you're at 360? 90. We're gonna look, now we don't have cosecant written on there. We look at sine and flip it. We flip sine. Sine is 1. What do you get when you flip 1? It stays 1. 17. Cotangent of 390. Okay. Well, we're going to look at 30 degrees here. All the way around is 360. Another 30 degrees. Cotangent. Well, tangent is radical 3 over 3. Cotangent, you flip that. Flip radical 3 over 3. Radical 3. Okay, I want to be very clear on this because I know I've said it a few times. Apparently I haven't been, I got to be a little more emphasis on this because I want to make sure this sticks in people's minds. What do you think we should do on this one, this improper fraction? Make it a mixed number. Divide it out. Divide this thing out, okay? And don't make it a decimal though, okay? 4 goes into 33 8 times with 1 left over. So 8 and 1/4 pies. Describe 8 pies. 4 times around. 4 full laps. Then we have to go another quarter of a quarter of a lap. Be careful here. I want to make sure we understand this. True or false? This is a lap. That's 2 laps. That's 2 laps, okay? So a quarter of a lap, that's not a quarter of a lap. A quarter of a lap's right here. We want the cosine, radical 2 over 2. Tangent of 21 pi. So that's 10 times around, and then another halfway around. So we're going to look right there. Okay, 10 times around, 20 pi is 10 laps. Okay, so 21 would be another half right there. So we want the tangent, which is 0. What if they wanted the cotangent at 21 pi? Undefined. It would be undefined if it was cotangent. That's not what they're asking. 23. Secant of 17 pi over 4. Okay, so again, we're going to divide this thing out. 17 over 4 is the same as 4 and 1/4 pies. So 4 pies is twice around. We have to go another quarter of a pi. So we're going to look here at 45 degrees. We want the secant. The secant, you flip cosine. Cosine's radical 2 over 2. Flip it. Radical 2. Tangent of 19 pi over 6. Again, let's make this into a mixed number. 6 goes into 19 3 times with 1 left over. 3 and 1/6 pi. So 3 pies. Well, that's 1 pi, 2 pies, 3 pies. So where would a sixth of a pi be? 210. We want the tangent, root 3 over 3. Really nothing new here. Stuff we've already talked about. Okay. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more questions, then we'll do our homework quiz. Okay. So we look at number 27. Now, in case you forgot these, you learned these probably back in middle school. There are 4 different quadrants. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. You don't need to put those on. I mean, you should know those. If you forgot them, and you think you're going to forget them, write them down. But you should know those. And it makes sense to me. This makes sense that it's quadrant 1 because both x and y are positive. That makes sense to me. If I was naming them way back when, I would have said 1, 2, 3, 4 because it goes clockwise. It goes counterclockwise. Why do they go counterclockwise? I don't know. Okay, whoever decided to do this way back when said 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're always Roman numerals. Okay? You always denote your quadrants by Roman numerals. So, on 27, they're telling us this, sine of theta, this, and cosine of theta is that. That's the fancy way of saying 2 very basic non-mathematical words. I'm looking for one word here. Sine of theta is bigger than 0. Any idea what word I'm looking for here? It's a real simple non-mathematical word. Any guesses? What value is, what, Okay, y is bigger than 0. Describe numbers bigger than 0. One word. Positive. Where is y positive?
1, 2.
I'm looking for one word. Up. Y is positive. That's a fancy way of saying up. Cosine of theta is less than 0. What word do I want here? Not down, it's cosine. Cosine's not up or down. Cosine's left and right. So it's what? Left. This is the fancy word of saying up, left. Up, left, quadrant 2. Any angle whose sine is positive and cosine's negative has to be in quadrant 2. Has to be. Okay? 29. Sine is less than 0. So what's that? What word is that? Down. So it's either 3 or 4. And then it says tangent. Okay. You can't really say, tangent is less than 0? With tangent, you can't really say, nope, I said that. Is that right? Yeah, less than 0. Okay. You can't really say up, down, left, right with tangent. Okay. We said it's got to be down here. So it's either 3 or 4. Which of these have tangents less than 0? 3 or 4?
Wait, no,
4.
4.
And less than 0 means they're negative. Why isn't tangent negative here? Well, because they're not. Look at them. They're positive. Here, tangent's negative. Okay? So it's quadrant 4. Cosine is, I'm not going to write this down. Cosine is bigger than 0. What word is that? If cosine is bigger than 0. Is it left or right? I heard both. Right? It's going to be right. And tangent is negative. So it's got to be to the right. So it's either 1 or 4. It's got to be to the right. And which is it? 1 or 4 if tangent's negative? It's got to be 4 again. Okay, I am going to write this one down. Secant is less than 0. And sine is bigger than 0. Okay, we'll do the second one first. That one looks like it'll be a bit easier. Sine is bigger than 0. So what's that? Up. Now, another way, I'm going to give somebody a chance to answer this one, and if you can't get it, it's okay. What's another way of saying secant is less than, we don't really like we like the sines and cosines and tangents more than the secants, cosecants, and cotangents, just because that's what we learned first. Is there another way we could say secant is less than 0? Anybody have a guess if secant is less than 0? What else?
Reciprocal of sine.
Say it again.
The reciprocal of sine is less than 0.
Careful.
Cosine.
Sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, secant, cosecant.
Reciprocal of cosine.
And what's the reciprocal? Okay. And if the reciprocal of cosine is less than 0, you're not wrong. You're just saying it another way. You're saying the exact same thing another way, but I don't want to give this away yet. I'll just give it to you. What's the reciprocal of a positive number? What's the reciprocal of 3 over 2? 2 over 3. What's the reciprocal of positive 3 over 2? Positive 2 over 3. So what's the reciprocal of a positive number? What's the reciprocal of a negative number? Still negative. All you're doing is flipping it. You're not changing the sign, you're just flipping it. So if secant is less than 0, you said the reciprocal of cosine. Couldn't you just say cosine is? What is secant? Cosine flipped. If secant is negative, so is cosine. Cosine has to be also. It has to be. When you flip a negative number, it still stays negative. Okay? If you flip a positive number, it still stays positive. What happens when you flip 0? What? You can't flip 0. It's undefined. You can't. So instead of saying secant's less than 0, I want to say cosine's less than 0. It's just easier to understand. If cosine's less than 0, what direction is that? Left. So left and up. Left, up, 2. It's in quadrant 2. Okay, last question, and then we'll do our homework quiz. 35. Get rid of this, we don't need to use a circle. Shoot, we should place bets on who's going to be the first one to turn in their homework quiz from the virtual kids. We should do that. Make a game out of this or something. Not actually bet money,
Same
but.
kid as, no.
Huh?
Same case last time, so he's second this time.
What we should do, we'll do this, maybe we'll do this next time. We just won't, I'll wait till I'm not being videotaped, okay? I'll tell you what to do.
So they don't know.
They don't know. Of course, now they know we're hiding from them. So, anyhow. All right, 35.
It's a mind game, we gotta make them
That's
feel
right.
worried.
35, okay. They give you sine and cosine. They want to know the other four remaining trig functions. They're telling you sine is negative 3/5. Sine of theta is negative 3/5, and cosine of theta is 4/5. They want to know what is tangent, what is cotangent, what is secant, and what is cosecant. Now, I don't know what this angle is. I have no idea what this angle is, but this is one, if you remember, Cassie answered a question similar to this like a week and a half or so ago. Could somebody give me a ballpark figure? It's got to be somewhere between what and what and y. What angle would theta have to be if sine is negative 3/5, cosine is positive 4/5? Between what and what?
0 and 1.
Say it again.
0 and 1.
91.
Not 90, hang on a second. No, not 90 to 180.
270.
Or I'd say 270 and 360, same thing. Yeah, what quadrant are we in? 4, because if sine is negative, that's down, cosine's positive, that's to the right. So it's the bottom right corner, it's somewhere between, I would say 270, 360, or, I don't know, it's between 0 and 270. I don't like the way, because that, to me, if you say between 0, because, is that what you said? What'd you say?
I just looked at it. And
Right, but you know, if you said between 0 and 270, I think you're talking about this huge range there. That's what it seemed like to me. Not being picky, but that's what I would have thought. So we don't know we don't really care what the angle is, okay? I'll tell you right now, you should be able to tell me two of these very, very quickly right now. Which ones are the easiest ones to find? What's cosecant?
5/3.
Negative 5/3. And what's secant?
5/4.
Positive 5/4. So you're just flipping them. This one's not that much harder. How do you find tangent? Sine over cosine. And we already have sine written over cosine, and our denominators are the same, so wipe them out, you're left with what? Negative 3/4. What's cotangent? Negative 4/3. That's an easy one. Okay, we're done for today, except for our homework quiz.